Yeah, he have potential. He have a lot of skills. He have a lot of potential to be one of the biggest star in boxing.
Do you think it's like a mental thing when you have all that pressure and you go in there and you get like, some would say you got like embarrassed kind of?
It's hard. It's obviously it's hard. But,
I mean, that was a big fight for him to take too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they could have both dodged
Do you
that.
think
for a
that it
while.
was too early to take that fight, or do you think it was
no.
smart?
What I think he need to do is take that loss and learn from that loss.
He's young. He's still growing.
Right.
He's still learning.
Now,
There's no different from in the past. You'll see Ryan. I mean, in the past, I've said certain things. Not really. You know, young fighters will take the wrong way when you say certain things sometimes.
right.
Even like a while back when it's called divide and conquer. When I talked about like YouTube, I wasn't talking. I said, listen.
I don't cry about shit.
I'm saying if that was his hustle, if he got a lot of followers from wherever he got them from, that's his hustle.
Right.
And he's supposed to say, yo, you can't knock my hustle no matter where I got him from.
I wish things would just be held accountable and then just held by the rules just so there's a standard. I'm not hating on the fight because I actually think Ryan Garcia knocks out Barrios. Barrios is horrible as a champion, maybe the worst champion I've ever seen in my life.
Boxing pros predict an exciting clash between Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios. Many expect a competitive fight with the outcome likely decided in the later rounds, keeping fans on the edge of their seats until the final bell.
What do we expected from Ryan and Barrios? You know, you beat Ryan recently. Dan was very outspoken about how he looked bad in that fight. What kind of Ryan do we expect coming into that fight versus Mario Barrios?
I don't know. What do you guys all expecting?
You know, there's something that keeps on saying, and I kind of agreed to it, that we're uncertain what kind of Ryan we're going to get, right? Like what kind of, how's he going to see him come into the fight? Conor Ben said that. I've said that we don't know what to expect for what kind of Ryan. If we get a Ryan, obviously focus and training, he could beat a good fight versus Barrios. So what do you think?
I don't know what I think. You know, like I said,
Gotta give me something, Rolly.
I tell you, for all we know, he might still have PTSD from me.
Think so?
Yeah.
Would you come out on a stream with him? Because now he's streaming. Would you be on a stream with Ryan?
Oh, sounds like the bank account's running dry.
Garcia has exceptional hand speed, arguably among the fastest in boxing today. And his left hook is a legitimate knockout weapon that has ended multiple fights instantly.
So, like, what would be the reason? Like, would you say speed, power, timing, or IQ?
I think speed, power. Ryan's a great fighter when he seems to be all together. But in all honesty, he shouldn't be fighting for a world title again. He just lost, and now he's fighting for a world title.
So would you say that, so do you like this fight for Ryan right now? Yes or no? You basically just...
I mean, if I was on his team, yeah, I would love it. But
For
if
you.
I'm not on his team, I mean, I'm just being honest. He should not be fighting for a world title. And he's just coming off a loss. But the reality is what I said before. Social media is the reason why. Because Mario Barrios, even though he's a champion, he needs Ryan Garcia to get a big payday.
Greg Hackett has openly questioned Ryan Garcia's readiness for his fight with Mario Barrios, suggesting that Garcia's focus and preparation may be lacking. He called the matchup a 50-50 fight, saying Garcia needs more than just his famed left hook to win and highlighting concerns about his discipline and commitment entering this bout.
I think Ryan and Barrios is actually a good fight because when have we seen Ryan in the ring with somebody his height? You know what I'm saying? So I think we're looking at a real boxing match. Could he overwhelm Barrios? Yeah, but where is he mentally? Ryan Garcia has been spending time with YouTubers and streamers and like that. He ain't really been training. So what type of Ryan are we getting? I mean, are we going to get the front runner Ryan who go in there and try his best for 2-3 rounds and then bullshit for the rest of the fight? Or is we going to get a full Ryan that's really trying to go in there and do damage? Barrios at the same time, he questions himself at times, and I think that's his biggest downfall. He get in that ring. Sometimes he questions his own abilities. So therefore, that could either make for a great fight, or it could be a bullshit fight.
Trainer Robert Garcia says this fight is a good matchup for Ryan Garcia and believes his son has the skills, power, and speed to become a world champion against Mario Barrios. But he also openly pointed out concerns about preparation and the training situation.
It's a good matchup for Ryan. I think Ryan has the skills, the power, the speed to actually go and become champion. But there's a few things that I see that might not be in his favor. And look, Barrios is dedicated. I know him. He's actually a good friend, a good person. And they chose him because they think Ryan has everything it takes to become champion, to become the world champion, because they're already planning on huge fights with Devin Haney and whatever out there for Ryan.
He noted that Ryan leaving world-class trainers like Eddie Reynoso, Joe Goossen, and Derek James to train with his father could be a disadvantage, even though he still thinks the matchup makes sense for Ryan's career.
But the fact that Ryan, has gone through 3 top trainers that would have done a great job, Eddie Reynoso, Joe Goossen, and Derek James.
Correct.
And he's not training with neither of them. He's training with his dad, which I'm not saying the dad is not, the dad brought him through the amateurs, but when he left his dad or went to seek a different trainer, before he came back to that, he went through 3 different trainers.
Wow.
That means all 3 are not good enough to, they're all 3
Here's
the best in the world.
Here's the question. Did Ryan Garcia ever allow those trainers to be the boss?
That's why he's back with his dad, because he's the boss. That's why.
Yeah.
Look, Joe Goossen, I know Joe Goossen. My brother used to train with him. He's not going to just let you get away with stuff like that. Derek James shouldn't either. Eddie Reynoso doesn't need. He's made so much money with Canelo that if you want to come to me, it's going to be under my rules. And if that didn't work, then Ryan's back. So that's I give that big advantage to Barrios to even put.
Ryan Garcia's coaching history is highlighted, noting he previously trained under Joe Goossen before working with other coaches and his father. Goossen, now training Mario Barrios, introduces a personal dynamic as he knows Garcia's strengths, weaknesses, and strategies.
This is an interesting dynamic in this fight. Ryan Garcia, when he was coming up through the amateurs, it was mostly him and his dad going to tournaments and Ryan learning there. But when he got to Los Angeles, he got to work with Joe Goossen at 10 Goose Gym. And this was around, I think, the time where Ryan was 17 years old, and Joe ended up being his coach for a while. Ryan ended up leaving, going to work with Canelo, then going to work with Derek James, and then coming back to Joe for a little bit. And I think now he's just trained by his dad for this fight. So there's been a lot of back and forth for this fight, because now Joe Goossen is training Mario Barrios, who previously had worked with Bob Santos for the last couple of fights. But the dynamic being Joe Goossen knows everything probably there is to know about Ryan Garcia from training him for so long. Garcia knows everything there is to know about Joe, or at least how Joe coaches, what he's going to try to look to implement with Barrios toward Ryan Garcia. It's both guys knowing their biggest secrets, they're knowing their greatest weapons and how to prepare for each. It's going to be a bit of a chess.
At the press conference, this tension surfaced through a playful but pointed exchange of words between Garcia and Goossen, creating added motivation for Ryan while adding drama and narrative intrigue to the fight buildup.
First found out that Joe was going to go ahead and train Mario Barrios, I was taken back. I'm not going to lie. I was thinking, well, what the heck's going on here? Why would a coach that trained my son all of a sudden turn around and train somebody else to go against my son? He told me a while back that he's done this in the past. He would train someone, then later on he would go against them. Again, I think it's not right, but maybe it's something he has to prove, or it's just an ego thing. But I also remember that he told me specifically that when Ryan is 100%, no one can beat him. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Ryan is 100%.
Chris Algieri highlights that boxing often favors popularity over merit, with selective matchmaking allowing fighters like Ryan Garcia to get title shots despite recent losses. He notes Mario Barrios is particularly vulnerable in the welterweight division, making him an easier target for high-profile bouts.
Look at it, Chris, this idea that selective matchmaking here, that you want an opportunity at 147 pounds. 147 is not
the prince of titles like it once was. This idea that Barrios, to Paulie's point, might be the most vulnerable person in the mix. This idea that obviously he's targeting a shot at 147. What do you think of it?
Well, I mean, everything the champ said is absolutely right in terms of this fight and it being made. It's already a black eye on boxing. You got a guy who's coming off a loss. You got a guy who hasn't won a fight at 147. Not to mention, we didn't mention this yet, he's got a drug scandal in the middle of that. So it's not even that he's just hasn't been winning and has proven himself at this level. He's literally cheated to get here and been caught and was suspended for it. But this is boxing, like the champ said, and it's unfortunate that we reward people who fail up, and just because they're popular, just because they put butts in seats. And Ryan does do that. And listen, I know, champ, you think that Ryan is going to knock Barrios out. He might, but he also might fumble the bag again, and he might pull a Rollies and go out there and throw 7 punches around and end up losing to a guy like Barrios.
Maybe throw 7.
Paulie Mlane Aji is poking fun at Mario Barrios' tendency to be inactive in the ring, often throwing very few punches during fights. He exaggerates by joking that if Barrios and Ryan Garcia fought and together threw only a handful of punches, the fight could end in a third draw, continuing a pattern from Barrios' past fights.